Hello and welcome to Building Bridget. If you're trying to learn how to flip furniture, you are in the right place. My client just dropped off this beautiful French Provincial set behind me. I'm going to be refinishing it for her and I'll show you exactly how to do it. And just before we get started, if you like furniture flips, DIY, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can see more videos like that from me. This French Provincial set has definitely seen better days. There's a ton of chipped veneer, lots of brushstrokes, and super obvious orbital sand or swirl marks. The dresser is a Bassett, which is a great brand, but the nightstand is not and definitely doesn't have as good construction. The bottom shelf here is completely split in half, so safe to say I have my work cut out for me. My first step is removing the hardware, which I will not be keeping since one of the handles is totally broken, so I'll need to get a full new matching set. Next up, I'm cleaning it with Crud Cutter inside and out. Next up is sanding. Now the last person to paint this got swirl marks all over because they used a flat orbital sander. To solve this problem, I got these squishy pads that attach right onto my orbital sander. You just place your sandpaper on top of it and the squishy pad flexes to match the contour of your surface. This helped me sand all those curves and was a total game changer on this set. I sanded the rest of the surfaces with 120 grit to really cut through and smooth out all the texture left from the brush strokes on the previous paint job. With any prep job, you'll always have to do at least a little bit of hand sanding, and having the right tools makes a huge difference. I'm using these little contour tools to make the job way easier. Make sure to check the description of this video for links to all of these tools. Next, I wood filled. I focused mainly on the outer edge here where my round orbital sander couldn't smooth out the brushstrokes texture as much because it just can't get in those corners and edges. For the drawers, I'm using the same DAP plastic wood filler for small dings and Bondo to fill the old hardware holes. Bondo is more heavy duty and better suited for bigger or deeper damage repair. It also works super well for all this veneer repair since it dries incredibly hard and won't chip off like regular wood filler if you put it on edges and corners. Once that dried, I sanded it all down. I ended up just grain filling the whole top to smooth out the texture and sanded that all down as well. Next, I caulked in all the seams. This sounds extra, but honestly it makes a huge difference and gives you that flawless finish without cracks, gaps, or seams showing. For the nightstand shelf that was totally cracked, I just squeezed wood glue in between the panels, clamped them together, wiped off the excess wood glue, and then left it to dry. Once it dried, I did a couple rounds of sanding and filling and sanding again until it was all smooth. Finally, it's time to prime. I always use Zinsser Bullseye 123 primer personally, and I like to use the spray can version since it's way faster than doing it by hand or in a sprayer, and there's literally zero cleanup. After my primer dries, I always do a round of wood filler and light sand with 400 grit. Next, I got ready for paint. I'm using my Wagner Flexio 3500 sprayer and straining my paint and poly into the spray bucket. I've been really liking mixing poly into my paint because it essentially turns it into an all-in-one type of paint and cuts down the need to do separate top coats later. If you're using a dark colored paint, this also helps reduce streakiness. Then I moved on to spraying.
When I finish a coat, I always just throw a Ziploc bag and a rubber band over the nozzle and leave it till the next coat. I always do touch-ups in between coats, so I did another round of wood filling, sanded it with 400 grit, and did some caulking before spraying the next coat. Next, I measured and drilled new hardware holes, and I like to drill through tape since it helps keep it from splintering. I like to use this template and drill tiny little pilot holes first, and then go in afterwards and drill larger holes for my hardware. For my final rounds of sanding, I just use a piece of brown paper bag. It's about the equivalent of 2500 grit, so it smooths out your texture without leaving scuff marks. I also touched up the edges of the drawers with an artist brush. I really thought I was done painting at this point, but this nightstand just needed a couple more tiny fixes, so I wood filled, sanded, did some paint touch-ups, and then did one more final coat. The underside of this dresser had some missed spots, so I touched that up with a brush and then moved on to lining the drawers. Lining curvy drawers can be tricky, so here's what I did. First, I scribed the outline of the curvy drawer front on the liner. I cut out the approximate shape of the curve, but it doesn't need to be perfect. Next, I cut out the drawer liner, leaving a couple extra inches on all sides. Then I lined it up inside the drawer with a little overflow on the front, as well as the other sides. Tracing and cutting the curve on the front allows you to push the liner right up to the curved edge without getting that awkward pulling around all the curves. Next, just trim the excess with a razor blade or X-Acto knife and peel off the excess. I always like to use this Howard's Feed and Wax on the insides of my drawers since it rehydrates the wood and helps it last longer. I also use it on all the drawer glides as well, both underneath the drawers and inside the dresser. This helps those old wooden tracks glide super smoothly again. And finally, I got this new set of French Provincial hardware, but I didn't like the white detail and the gold looked a bit cheap to me, so I sprayed them in my favorite Rust-Oleum gold spray paint before installing. I got them installed and this is the final result. I love how classic this set looks now, and I think the creamy white color is perfect. The pop of color from the drawer liner is just what it needed, and now it's ready for decades more use in my client's home. If you enjoyed this makeover, make sure to subscribe for more furniture flips and DIY makeovers. Thanks for watching.